What's up, everybody? Scott Leonard back here by myself again without my dad. Before I get into my predictions, I hope everyone stayed safe during the Hurricane Nicole this week. This is not at all where I want to be right now. I'd rather be at state games for Special Olympics this weekend. But let's get into my predictions for college football and NFL predictions for this week. First game out, Colorado and USC tonight. Give me Southern Cal to get it done. I think USC's had a much better season. I'm going to go with USC to get the win here at home over Colorado. Next up, UCF and Tulane tomorrow afternoon. Tulane favored by 1.5 points. I'm going to take UCF in this game, but I don't feel great about it. I think both teams are very good, but I'm going to take UCF to find a way to win this game. Next up, Indiana and Ohio State. I'm going to go with Ohio State to get the win here at home. I do not expect them to cover the 40-point spread this week. I'm going to take Ohio State to win the game this week over Indiana. Next up, Missouri and Tennessee. Tennessee coming off a bad loss last week to Georgia. I'm going to take Tennessee to get the win here at home and keep their college football playoff hopes alive with a win at home over Missouri. Next up, LSU and Arkansas. I'm going to go with LSU to keep their hopes alive for a spot in the college football playoff as well. I'm going to go with LSU to find a way to get a road win on the road in Fayetteville against Arkansas. Next up, Notre Dame and Navy. I'm going to go with Notre Dame to get the win here. Notre Dame's been playing much better as of late. I'm going to go with Notre Dame on the road in Baltimore this week against Navy. Next up, Purdue and Illinois. I'm going to go with Illinois to get back on track this week. Illinois did not play well last week against Michigan State. I think they played much better this week. I'm going to go with Illinois to get the win here at home over Purdue. Next up, Vanderbilt and Kentucky. I'm going to go with my buddy Terry Jewell and his Kentucky Wildcats to get the win here. I think Kentucky's a much better team than Vandy is right now. So I'm going to go with Kentucky to get the win here at home over Vanderbilt. Next up, Nebraska and Michigan. Give me J.J. McCarthy and Michigan to get the win here at home. I think we're only a couple weeks away from seeing my dream prediction come true, and that is seeing both Ohio State and Michigan undefeated going into that game on Thanksgiving weekend. So I'm going to go with Michigan to get the win here at home over Nebraska. Next up, Alabama and Ole Miss. Give me Alabama to get back on track. I think that's a very angry Nick Saban right now. After losing to LSU last week, I'm going to go with Alabama to get a close win here. Keep their slight playoff hopes alive with a win on the road over Ole Miss. Next up, Clemson and Louisville. Should be a good game here. I'm going to go with Clemson at home. I think Clemson is a much better team right now. So I'm going to go with Clemson to get the win here at home over Louisville. Next up, Penn State and Maryland. Give me Penn State here at home. I think Penn State's been playing much better recently. I'm going to go with Penn State to get the win here at home over Maryland. Next up, Boston College and NC State. I'm going to go with NC State to get the win here at home. I think NC State's been playing very well recently. So I'll go with NC State at home over Boston College. Next up, Georgia coming off a great win last week over Tennessee as they head into Starkville to take on Mississippi State. I'm going to go with Georgia to get the win here. I think Georgia's the number one team in the country right now, and I'm going to go with Georgia to get the win here at home. On the road in Starkville against Mississippi State. Next up, Washington and Oregon tomorrow night on Fox. I'm going to go with Oregon. I think Oregon is probably the best one-loss team in the country right now. So I'm going to go with Oregon to get the win here at home over Washington. Next up, Kansas State coming off another loss last week to Texas, I believe, or something like that. And they head into Waco this week to take on Baylor. Give me K-State to get it done here at home. I think on the road in Waco, I think Kansas State's been playing very well recently. I'm going to go with Kansas State to get the win here on the road in Waco against Baylor. Next up, the College Game Day game of the week. College Game Day will be there tomorrow morning. It'll be number 4 TCU heading into Austin to take on number 18 Texas. I'm going to go with Texas to pull off the upset here. I think Texas at home, they're much healthier than they were back when they played Alabama back in September. So I'm going to go with Texas to pull up the upset and end the hopes and dreams of TCU to make the college football playoff. I'm going to go with Texas to get the win here at home over TCU. Next up, North Carolina and Wake Forest. I'm going to go with North Carolina to get the win here, get one step closer to getting to the ACC championship game. I'm going to go with North Carolina to pull up a slight upset on the road in Winston-Salem over Wake Forest. Next up, Florida State and Syracuse. I'm going to go with a team that's been much hotter recently. I'm going to go with Florida State to pull off the upset here. Florida State's been playing very well recently. Syracuse on a 3-game losing streak. I'm going to go with the Noles to make that 4 in a row this week. I'll go with Florida State on the road over Syracuse. Next up, Stanford and Utah. Utah coming in 7-2. They need a win here, and they get it. I'm going to go with Utah to get the win here at home in Salt Lake City over Stanford. And finally, Arizona and UCLA, final college game for the week. I'm going to go with UCLA to pull off a win here at home. 20-point favorites. I'll go with UCLA to pull it off over Arizona. And for my non-top 25 game of the week this week, let's see. Let's see if I can find it. There you go. As it'll be William & Mary hosting Villanova on Saturday. Should be a great game. 56 degrees in Williamsburg this weekend. William & Mary coming in 8-1, doing very well this year. I'm going to happily take William & Mary to win this game. My sister went to graduate school at William & Mary, so I'm going to take the Tribe to get the win here at home. I think Villanova's not as good of a team right now as William & Mary is. If this was basketball, I would definitely take Villanova in this game, but William & Mary finds a way to win this game and gets one step closer to making the playoff this year. I'm going to go with William & Mary to get the win here at home over Villanova. And now into the NFL games for the weekend. First game out, Seattle and Tampa Bay on Sunday in Munich at the Bayern Munich Stadium. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay to get this win somehow. I don't know how it's going to happen. Seattle's a better team. But I told myself I will never pick against the Buccaneers when they have Tom Brady on the team. So I'm going to go with Brady and the Bucs to get a win here at home. This should have been a home game this week at Raymond James' Sunday. But unfortunately, they moved this game to Germany. So I'm going to go with the Bucs to get the win here over Seattle. Next up, the Minnesota Vikings heading into Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills. Another surprising line. The Bucs were favored by 2.5 points. Somehow the Buffalo Bills are favored in this game, even though Josh Allen may not even play this week. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings to pull up the upset here. Josh Allen may not play this week, so I'm not going to trust that he's 100% this week. I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings to get the win here on the road in Buffalo against the Bills. Next up, the Detroit Lions heading into Chicago to take on a very surprising Justin Fields and the Bears. Even though the record's not great, Justin Fields has proven to me that he will be a star in the NFL for years to come. I'm going to go with Justin Fields and the Bears to get the win here at home. I think the Bears might be the second best team in the NFC North this year. That's surprising with how bad the Green Bay Packers have been this year. I'm going to go with the Bears to get the win here at home over the Lions. Next up, the Denver Broncos heading into Nashville to take on the Titans. Give me Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans to get the win here. Derrick Henry's been playing much better recently, so I'm going to go with Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans to get the win here at home in Tennessee against the Broncos. Next up, Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville heading into Kansas City to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. 45 degrees on Sunday in Kansas City at Arrowhead. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to get the win here at home. I think the Chiefs are a better team right now than the Jags. So I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to get the win here at home over the Jags. Next up, the Cleveland Browns heading into Miami to take on the Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins at home. I think the Dolphins have been playing much better this year than the Browns. And the Browns just have to wait a few more weeks until they can possibly make a run for the playoffs with Deshaun Watson coming back in December. So I'm going to go with Tua and the Dolphins to get a win here at home over the Browns. Next up, the Houston Texans heading into New York to take on Danny Dimes and the Giants coming off a bye week. Give you the Giants at home. I think the Giants have been playing much better this year. Probably the most surprising team in the NFL this year, in my opinion, are the Giants. I'm going to go with the Giants to get the win here at home over the Texans. Next up, the New Orleans Saints heading into Pittsburgh to take on Kenny Pickett and the Steelers. TJ Watt's supposed to be back this week, so I think that's going to make a huge difference. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers to win a very boring game this week. I think this game's probably going to put a lot of people to sleep this week. I'm going to go with Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers to get the win here at home over the Saints. Next up, the Indianapolis Colts heading into Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. The debut of Jeff Saturday as head coach in Indy. I'm going to go with Vegas to get the win here. I think Las Vegas has been better this year. Should have won last week in Jacksonville, but they blew a 17-point lead last week. I'm going to go with Derek Carr and the Raiders to get the win here at home over the Colts. Next up, the Dallas Cowboys heading into Lambeau to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. At the start of the season, a lot of people thought this was going to be a great game, possibly a preview of the NFC Championship game this year, but it isn't now. I'm going to go with Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott, Tony Pollard, and the Dallas Cowboys to get the win here on the road in Green Bay, 44 degrees on Sunday at Lambeau. I'm still going to take the Cowboys to get the win here on the road in Green Bay against the Packers. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals heading into LA to take on the Rams. Both of these teams are inconsistent. I'm going to go with the Rams, I guess, at home. I think Stafford will play better this week. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams to get the win here at home and keep their slim playoff hopes alive with a win over the Cardinals. Next up, Sunday Night Football in San Francisco. And there'll be Justin Herbert and the Chargers heading into San Francisco to take on Jimmy G and the Niners. Fortunately, Kyle, I don't have the Chargers winning this week. I'm going to take Jimmy G, Christian McCaffrey, and the 49ers to get the win here at home. I think the Niners got to keep up with Seattle in the NFC West. And I think the Chargers can get back on track next week against Kansas City on Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a great game next week. I'm going to go with the Niners, though, at home here over the Chargers. Next up, Monday Night Football is going to be Taylor Heineke now in the Washington Commanders, heading into Philly to take on Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. I'm going to happily take the Eagles here at home. I think the Eagles are a better team right now than the Commanders. So I'll take the Philadelphia Eagles to get it done here at home over the Washington Commanders. And that will do it for this episode of Scott's Wing Sports today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back next week with a little bit something different next week. I will not be doing my NFL and college football predictions next week. Instead, I'll be doing my World Cup predictions for next week. The World Cup starts next Sunday, so I'll be back with my World Cup predictions next week. And I'll see you guys right back here next week on Scott's Wing Sports. See you later, guys.